Mario goes back to the castle after exploiting the failure that is our justice system to show the gang a rat, but sees a wonder flower in the main room. Eating it, he goes on a brief acid trip, then goes back to normal, but his surroundings are much further than that. He goes to the Guardian's room where 4 and 3 have become their pets. Mario then sees Melanie Tari get loose, further confusing him, then goes outside realizing the flower had completely warped the world into a different type of insanity. A nearby talking flower says he'll need to grab a wonder seed to turn everything back. Mario takes a journey to Luigi's flower shop and along the way gets turned into an elephant, chases a flagpole stolen by Leggies, painfully crippling Yoshi, and battling Swackins. A typical Saturday for the low IQ Paisano. When he finally reaches Luigi's shop, he sees his brother with a balloon head, like he changed from the horrors of the pea balloon, telling him the seeds is in the chest. It gets stolen by Bookins under Bowser's orders, who wants everything to stay the way it is now since he needs to do with his princess capturing days behind him. Jack Black secures his endless weed trip by throwing the seed into the deep magma volcano, but Mario catches it in the nick of time. The world resets with Mario and Bowser laughing at Boopkins on fire, leaving us wondering if a dealer left that flower in the castle by accident or on purpose. 9 out of 10, a wonderful acid trip for the whole family. SMG4 hasn't given up on tackling the Mario series itself, and this is defining proof. Even if the title is different than expected, stupid Mario Wonder, my little gripes on some Gmod animations, throwaway jokes, and the Bowser battle is a bit of a pace breaker. The episode is still exceptional for a Mario parody on the internet. I wish we could have seen the rest of the cast experiencing the Wonder Flowers effects with a slightly longer ride time, but we aren't exactly leaving the best timeline. We're also keeping track of what the Big N has in store for our beloved plumber in the future, considering Mario Wonder itself is a pretty wild surprise. Just pray the fan art won't be as terrible. Next episode.
Rats, we're rats, we're the rats. We pray at night, we stalk at night, we're the rats.
Four Bookins and Bob are making cheesecake and a rat shows up, triggering Bob's PTSD. More rats swarm the kitchen, making him convert to Christianity. Hopefully that kind that doesn't excuse hate. The gang get out of Dodge called Pest Control, which goes as well as surviving a plague before the 20th century. 3 is busy building his upcoming cafe and doesn't want any interruption, leaving the trio with less wiggle room to solve their problem. So the gang hides in 4's room till it clears out. They spot a baby mouse, which Bob tackles head on, knocking off 4's hat, revealing the unexpected. He, alongside Bookins, are under control by the likes of Chris Rapp and his son Ratatouille style, and take over the castle. Bob smokes a cigarette like any punished protagonist would and plans to take back their home from one of his sworn enemies. Heading to the basement, he's immediately trapped by Chris's army, and Depresso reveals himself to be the mastermind behind this escapade. Because he's been neglected by everyone for the past year, despite never formally introducing himself to anyone, he decides to take over the castle with his actual friends. After they transform into a mech, Bob plays the flute to distract them as 4 calls Mario to dig a hole and drag the rat clown away from the castle. However, they reverse this in 3's construction site, postponing the grand opening a little further. Maybe there's a good recipe for a rat Java somewhere. 7.5 out of 10. Oh shit, a crispy rat. Another standard Chaos episode with a special guest. Chris Rapp is someone who understands subjective humor well enough to appear in a series as controversial as this. And his own work isn't too shabby itself, so you could check it out if you're new. The humor meets the show's standard, and the characters are pretty good, with Mario serving another minor role. Bob's vendetta against rats is pretty out of left field, thus slightly dragging the story down when he prepares to take them out. The Presto is pretty alright as well, despite his motives being futile in the first place, and if he's ever getting any development in the future, he's got a long way to go. Anyway, make sure to look out for these creatures at your local cheesecake factory, especially the giant ones that crawl through the toilets. but you can at least take a refugee at a cafe with this next video.
You lost it. It is yours, my friend. As long as you have enough time to
3's Bomb Cafe finally has its grand opening and gives the viewers a tour. 4 questions is even able to run a restaurant, to which he denies it an experience. Boopkins orders a cappuccino, then 3 immediately gets stuck on the first step of preparing coffee, even after living in a Starbucks for 3 years. After looking up a tutorial, he fills the machine with gunpowder and serves it to the green fish chicken, not objecting to the taste. You do you, buddy. The rest of the group are amazed at the place and order food not on the menu. Mario, fueled by his insane hunger, fiddles with the coffee maker creating a frappuccino that Tari order and gets Sonic Speed induced sugar rush. When Psycho's about to order, she gets blasted by Maggie and Bob, who are messing with the weaponry display and retaliates for the annoyance. 3 is stressed out from the chaos ruining his dream and runs to his private room. 4 comes to consolate with him, which he calls out his cockiness that he couldn't run the place by himself, which true. Possibly as a force of habit from their troubled history, he meant no harm and wants to make up for his remarks by working there, since he's had to change of heart over the years. 3 accepts his deal and they offer drinks on the house, so the gang calms down and clears up the mess. Mario also gets his own reward for complying, dynamite flavored spaghetti. Sadly, he'll be expecting every other place to sell that as well. 8 out of 10. Can I get a light decaf with the grenades, please? The episode is another laid-back introduction to the new location, complete with solid humor and an array of characters and decent pacing. The design of the cafe is pretty well made, and certainly doesn't look like something that can be easily done in a single week. Since it's a cafe, it's possible 3 will give a position to a certain cat girl in the future, but a man can dream. Much like the new castle, Coffee and Bombs will likely make a name for itself over time. For now, let's focus on this month's last episode.
tell us, what fate do you decide for the loser?
Oh, jeez!
Melanie has completed her manga dedicated to her lover and holds an opening release at the mall. Mario is also there to stir up buzz and help sell copies, grabbing anyone's attention by any means necessary, which he successfully does with the guards. Swag rudely trash talks the book after reading one page, bringing her mood down and offends Mario for doing so. The two scatterbrains throw an argument that ends up with Chris and Mario bumping into the president. If it were his two successors, no one actually cared. Both are thrown in prison and face charges for the incident. Swag and Melanie want to pay for their bail, but Karen informs them that it isn't available, due to attacking the president being punishable for death row. Goes to show how the law believes itself is above universal rules that could wipe out all existence if broken. That being said, Mario isn't faced by this all being crash test dummy entity he is implying he might come out okay. But as for Chris, suffers trauma from his incoming demise. Swag and Melanie disguise themselves to trick them into freeing their clients himself, even going as far to get Karen's kids involved, which is asking for trouble. Chris and Mario attend their last supper, but suddenly Swag and Melanie pretend to be lawyers to distract security, long enough for the informant to make his move and escape with the convicts. Mother chases down through town, but the gang have a trick up their sleeve. They make a delivery from the Three's new bomb shop towards Marner's location, blowing each other up. That almost puts the drones to shame, if I do say so. They're all free, but Mario is upset he missed out on the food, even though he now has more time to catch up his endless appetite. Later on, they return to the mall with Melanie selling her manga and Mario chowing down all-you-can-eat buffet, which Swag managed to pay for with the chief's credit card, leaving the dream their way, I suppose. He also has a renewed application for work, which is all she needed in the first place. It wouldn't hurt for the authorities to soften up every now and then. 8 out of 10, slapsticks galore and character torture that is actually amusing to watch. This episode puts two duos at odds with each other, encouraging them to settle their differences, getting them out of sticky situation. While Mar escalates the problem over kindergarten level insults, Swag's responsibility for being petty over the piece of fiction that was made for someone they were close to, which honestly came out as obnoxious. Most of the jokes were entertaining, even though I just said Chris' suffering is a little chuckle-worthy. It did drag out for a little longer than needed. Other shows might not care about that kind of thing and keep it going regardless. Character variety is pretty good, with Swag and Melanie and Chris and Mario parodied respectively, and Karen being mostly numb to her receptionist job. A little continuing refresher to those who don't have the memory of a goldfish. Melanie created the manga for Axel, whom the gang lost 2 years ago, and has been working hard on it since. Realistically, you don't expect literature to be written and published in a short amount of time, or perhaps make a story to be finished in a couple weeks without coming across as a rushed mess. That sounds like the kind of people who want to be spoon-fed content like the average TikTok user. Anyways, this episode stands out on the character variety alone, with a silly misunderstanding to boot. Not necessarily justifiable to send someone on death row through the court of public opinion. Well guys, 2023 is coming to a close, but I want to send this off with a bang. Oh yeah, you will see what's coming in the next review batch. I hope you and your families are safe and having a happy holiday season. And as always, peace out.